Whatever you'd like to chat about, 989-752-6111, the number to call. And just as a reminder, we will be doing this regularly. It is unhealthy air we have outside because of the fires in Canada and Minnesota. And we are in the most hazardous zone. And right now, that hazardous number is 328. 300 drops us into one lower zone if we ever get there. But right now, we are in the very hazardous zone, the most hazardous of all the zones. So if you have breathing problems, asthma, anything like that, be aware of how hazardous the air is outside. And if you have medical devices, inhalers, things of that nature, carry them with you. As I mentioned, it's open lines, whatever you'd like to chat about, 989-752-6111. Just a quick note, daylight savings time a little bit closer to us now permanently. The House of Representatives passed 2 days ago by a 308 to 117 vote a measure that would stop the practice of moving the clocks spring and fall and would retain daylight savings time as the time. It's called the Sunshine Protection Act of 2025. So what that means is, yeah, you'll have more light in the evening year-round. But in the wintertime, it'll be dark a lot longer in the morning. So the shortest days of the year, what that means is you probably won't have daylight till 9 a.m. in the winter, and you will have daylight till about 6 p.m. In the afternoon in the winter. Summertime, of course, beautiful. Lots of daylight. I went outside last night at 9:30 and it was still bright out. So, and that's because we're on the western end of the Eastern time zone. So it probably means more to us in terms of daylight at the end of the day than other parts of the Eastern time zone and other parts of the country. All right, let's head to the phones. Carl's in Saginaw. Good morning, Carl.
Good morning, Art. Well, I hope they pass that law. And, we've talked about it before. I just hope they pass it. But speaking of daylight, yesterday afternoon, about 5 o'clock, I saw cars that had their headlights on because it was so dark outside, driving.
Yep.
From the smoke.
Yep, absolutely. I did too. And most of the cars, a lot of the cars today, when the light level drops below a certain level, the headlights come on automatically.
Yeah.
And I think that was happening quite a bit yesterday.
Yeah. I just changed my furnace filter, during your news break about 15 minutes ago, because I'm running the AC not to keep the house cold, but just to keep, the inside air circulating.
Yeah, it's smart, and it filters it.
Yeah. So, and the old filter was pretty dirty too. So
I've been there.
might be something for people to check. There, usually you don't change your furnace filter in the summertime, but
no, it's a very good idea. Very good idea. Might as well prep for the next season.
Art, I was thinking about this story about the Senate candidate in Maine, Graham Plattner, who dropped out of the race.
Yep.
About 2 weeks ago, after there were accusations against him. The concern I had with that is, and not just him in particular, but that the woman that made these accusations, there was no police report at the time. There was no investigation, no trial.
Right. Hang on a
no
minute.
verdict.
Carl, look, we don't know anything about it. We don't know whether it happened or didn't happen. But that wasn't the only thing against Plattner. There's a whole host of them. Right. And usually fitting for today, where there's smoke, there's fire. You've heard that saying.
Uh,
You know, he was a flawed candidate, and I didn't think he was going to survive it without her even. So you know, but I have no idea what happened back then when she claims it. I don't know. Maybe it did. If it did, then I credit her for coming out. If it didn't, then I fault her for false reporting. But I don't know. I wasn't there.
well, that's just it. But there's no due process. There's no chance to confront your accuser, at least the way it works in the press today. If someone makes an accusation, is it just, well, I guess it's true.
Well,
So,
we've had a lot of that since what did they call it now? I forgot what they call it.
the Me Too movement?
The Me Too movement. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of that, and it's pretty much you make the accusation, and you know it's all over the press. You suffer whether you did it or not, and it's too bad. But that's it's the world we live in today, unfortunately.
You know, it's a little different when you're in a situation where there's a boss and there's a subordinate, and you know
why is it different?
Why
is it different?
Well, because
couldn't somebody make it up there too?
You could lose your job if you don't do what the boss says.
Well, but you could also make it up. You could also make it up if you didn't like your boss. So we weren't there. We don't know.
Yes,
we weren't there. We don't know.
In a consensual relationship, it seems like the rules are different.
Well, they are because both parties consent. By its very nature, it's different. But, that becomes the argument when these accusations come forward that all of a sudden I'm accusing so-and-so of rape and so-and-so is saying it was consensual. And, listen, I wasn't there. I don't judge him on it because I don't know. Same way when judges go before Congress for Supreme Court nominations and they get accused of all kinds of things. I don't know. I wasn't there. But isn't it interesting that it only comes out when they're about to be appointed to something or running for office or doing, whatever?
But at least they get to, rebut the argument.
Plattner could rebut it all he wanted, but he had so much else going against him. I don't think he was believable. That's the problem. All right, I got to run.
Okay.
Thanks, Art. Talk to you later. Yep. Bye now. And let's chat with Mike Mike's in Thomas Township. Mike, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Art. Concerning this weather that we have out here, the smoke, what about the wild animals? Like
they suffer too?
Yeah, and I'm wondering how bad they get it, because we have a lot of animals that come around the house and feed. They get into our bird feeder, but
they're just susceptible as we are, depending on their lung conditions and what have you.
Well, they're lower to the ground, so maybe
that's
helps
true.
A little bit. Helps, but anyway, I didn't really call about that. I'm calling about the Straits of Hormuz. He said there was a possibility they would put a blockade of ships, and then have the tankers go in between them, so that they could knock down any missiles or stuff that were being shot at them. And that sounded like a fairly decent idea, although it is going to bring a lot of our ships under fire.
We don't have enough ships to do that.
Yeah, well,
it's a long strait.
They can cover quite a bit of area. Like the Abraham Lincoln got 14 or 15 missiles shot at them,
but still. That's where they sat. I mean, there's so many ships that want to go through the straits. And we only have so many Navy vessels that can escort them.
So that's true.
They
can cover a lot of area. I wish that they could open that. I mean,
here's my point. Here's my point. I'm tired of following it. Yeah. I'll tell you why. One day it's open, one day it's closed. One day it's open, one day it's closed. One day our gas is at $3.69. This morning it was $4.29. Tomorrow,
Oh my
who
God, I
knows
didn't
what
know
it'll
that.
be.
Jeez.
And, and it's, there's no soundness to it.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
know what
just,
you're
it's
saying.
becoming, it's becoming a joke, unfortunately.
But I
And-
think the press, when they're writing reports from Iran about that they're opening it up, how true is that?
Yeah.
I mean, they
I
haven't
don't
got
believe
the
anything
ability
Iran
to-
says.
Yeah. Well,
I don't trust them.
But people do.
Well,
The price
people
of
do.
gas
I
is
can't
up.
stop that.
Yeah, I know. But that's what's
Yeah.
causing some of our gas prices and stuff.
All right.
These companies. Well, anyway, you have a
Yeah,
great
right,
day
you
and
too.
try to stay
Take
healthy.
care. Yep. Bye-bye. All right, Mark and Bob, hang on. We'll get to you right after these notes. First of all, how'd you sleep last night? Because today we're asked to do more for less. So when you go to bed and you spend a third of your life there, you need quality sleep. And you can get it with a quality mattress from Sanitary Mattress. Now, you can visit all the so-called sleep stores, or you can rest assured the mattress you're using is manufactured right here in the Great Lakes Bay region to your specifications. Your time in bed may be cut short by today's demanding world, but you can still get a quality good night's sleep on a Sanitary Mattress. They feature 1-hour window delivery of your mattress to your home, and if you have an RV or a boat, Sanitary Mattress will custom make a mattress for you to your exact size, something the box stores can't do. Visit the Sanitary Mattress Factory and Showroom at 5343 Janes Road in Saginaw, just east of the Harry Brown Airport. Visit them online at sanitarymattress.com or call them at 989-753-1757. 989-753-1757. Sanitary Mattress, serving the Great Lakes Bay region since 1935.
Jeff Gronsky here with Auto Bright.
Before we get back to our phones here, and we will do that momentarily, just a further advisory on the breathing air outside. We had been at 352 earlier this morning. It dropped to 328. It's back up again. It's now 343 in the hazardous zone. So just fair warning, be careful when you go outside and make sure you're prepared for it. All right, to the phones. Mark is in Midland. Mark, good morning.
Good morning, Art. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks. Hope you are.
On the main Graham Plattner, I think the vetting process failed the Democrat Party on that candidate.
Yeah.
I think the vetting process potentially was the same process they used on the border in the last administration, where they said everybody was vetted and good. So that's all I'll say on that one. So if you were to go outside, what would you put a price on your freedom to go outside for one day?
I don't
50
understand.
bucks, $100?
I don't understand the
Well-
question. You mean if I had to buy my freedom?
Yeah, you buy your freedom for the day to go outside. What would you put a price on that?
I wouldn't. I'd expect
Well, like
to
when
go
the
out
cable-
for nothing.
Well, when the cable goes out for an extended a certain period of time, you can call and get a credit for the days that are out.
Yeah.
Small credit.
Yeah.
And that goes for anything. Well, today with the air quality, a lot of people have to stay inside their homes.
Mm-hmm.
So should there not be a tax credit at the end of the year for air quality and be taxed whatever dollar amount credit you want?
I don't know about
not
that. I
that
don't
you
know
want,
that
but-
the American government should do that, but maybe the Canadian government should send us all checks. How's that?
Well, yeah. That's what I'm trying to get is accountability. Every year we're having to put
There
up
is
with,
none. It's
We get
it's an act of God, so to speak. Mother Nature at its worst.
well because when you're on a flight and you're on a tarmac for an extended period of time, you do get a credit from the airlines.
Yeah, but you paid to be there.
Inconvenience. Yeah, true. All right. Well, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. I think countries should be held accountable. Every year we're putting up with this air quality control.
Yeah, but
air quality.
that'd be okay if it were a controllable item. How do you control Mother Nature?
Well,
That's the problem.
yeah, 85% of Canadians live down by Quebec. So, I mean, the rest of the northern part is pretty sparse as far as
Yeah, subject
being
to
able
fires.
to get to those areas. All right, so why can't we take airplanes? Why don't they have a fleet of airplanes that drops the retardant on there?
I'm sure they're doing that they're doing that where they can. How many airplanes would it take to cover thousands and thousands of acres?
But how did it get to thousands? Is I guess if there was a more of a infrared heat, you could sense heat. You could get to those hot spots a lot quicker than letting weeks go by, and then now you got thousands of acres to try to control.
I don't know that I don't know that they can possibly watch all of that territory for hot spots.
It's like a satellite or something.
Well, I'm sure they have that, but the fires when the atmosphere is right for those fires, and your burning material is brittle, it doesn't take very long for it to spread.
All right.
So, anyhow, on we go.
Right,
take care.
Yep.
Bye-bye now.
Take care.
Go to Reese, and we'll talk to Bob. And Reese, Bob, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Art. Number one, this is not an act of God. God acted, 2,000 years ago. And according to John's Gospel, the 10th verse, 10th chapter, the thief has come to steal, kill, and destroy, Jesus said. And
All right, what's that got to do with these fires in Canada?
That's a good question, Art. I've been on the earth 77 years, and I've never seen anything like this in my life.
Well, it's been progressive, though. I mean, it's not the first year. Same thing with the fires out west. We have more and more fires out west than we used to have.
Yeah, and a lot of them were set.
Some of them were
2 years ago.
Some were.
Yep.
No doubt about that.
And anyway, Art, a guy brought a vehicle up to my place, and before I could even hardly give him my address, he had a picture of my yard and asked me, where do I want to put it? And he was 30 miles away at the time. Mm-hmm. They can't, you tell me with the global, what they've got nowadays, they can't sight in these fires when they're small.
Oh, it may be, but by the time they respond, they get big. These fires, they don't take very long to spread. If you got brittle material
from lightning, none of these storms had rain in them.
Well, it doesn't matter if you have lightning and it kicks off a fire. You can have it, unless it's a torrential downpour. There are lightning storms where there is no precipitation.
Keep making excuses, Art. That's a good cover.
I'm not making excuses. I'm a realist.
Absolutely no evidence of election fraud in 2020.
All right, now we're going. That has a lot to do with lightning that we were just talking about.
Yeah, remember that one? Absolutely no evidence, Art.
Okay,
Did you hear the news? Did you hear the news this morning from Detroit? There's a task force, and they found out there's over 27,000 votes.
Yep, I heard that.
You heard that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just the other day it was on there, and somebody had the recording of the hearings. And in Wayne, Macomb, and Kent County, they had an 80% turnout on average in their precincts. And in some of those precincts, and quite a number of them, they had 100% turnout. And in a few, they had 120% turnout.
So let me ask you a question, Bob.
Wait a minute,
Bob.
Evidence.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
All of that information you just gave, and we'll assume for a moment it's 100% accurate.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to change?
Well, somebody should be. Well, eventually they will have to. There will be a day of reckoning.
Eventually, that may be true. But I'm asking you right now. You can spew all this stuff till the world is blue.
Yeah,
nothing is going to change.
I know,
and that's not now. Now I will say this: we need to learn from that, and they need to pass that SAVE Act.
That's right. And Mrs. Slotkin, or whatever her name is, should be voting for it. And Mr. Peters should be voting for it.
Maybe, but they're not.
Call them and remind them.
Good. That's good. But if they don't, they don't. So so your response is what? You go to the poll and you vote for somebody else.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah,
All right,
people
Bob.
need to wake up.
Good enough, buddy.
All right.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye now. And let's see. Is this Gene?
Good morning.
Good. I'm going to get you to hold on, Gene, because I got to take a break, and I would cut you
Thank
off
you.
otherwise. So hold on. Don't go anywhere.
you.
We'll be back. Let me take a moment to talk about Krijak's House Family Restaurant. Best place to go for your authentic home-cooked foods with a European flair at reasonable prices. Now's the time to think about getting together with friends and family for lunch and dinner, as well as events coming up soon. Graduations, confirmations, weddings, showers, anniversaries. Krijak's has an economical way for you to supply the food. Now, you can order what you want in Polish and American foods, then just pick it up at the restaurant ready to go. Or better yet, have your celebration right there. And don't forget, at a moment's notice, Krijak's can help. Give them a call, 989-894-5531. Krijak's House Family Restaurant, corner of Cass and Michigan on Bay City's south side. Online, Krizaks.com, spelled KRZYSIAKS.com.
Big news in the race.
Back with you on the Art Lewis Show, and back to our phones, and we have Gene in Bay City. Gene, thanks for waiting. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning.
Do you know, are we doing anything to help Canada put out those fires? Are we sending any planes or anything to help?
I don't know right now. We have in the past. I don't know right now, though. But we have in the past.
Do you think, I know in the past, you know, you didn't believe that Trump won the 2020 election, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, he's saying that our voting system is all full of fraud and everything. Do you believe that?
I believe there's some, but I don't know that it's to the level that they think it is. I think there's always some. There's always been some. I can remember growing up in the 50s and hearing about Chicago and all the dead people voting. So, I mean, it's not new.
He's very worried about the midterms. If he could turn that around. If he would start doing some things for the hardworking blue-collar people, the Americans that are working hard and falling farther and farther behind, if he would make some decisions to help the working people that voted for him, he could stop worrying about the midterms, because if he was doing good for the average American, they would be voting for his people.
Well, we'll find out come midterms, because that's how people vote. They vote with their pocketbook. If they don't think they're doing well, they won't vote for whoever's in.
You know, they're, in one sentence, you know, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer.
Yeah, I've heard that all my life, Gene, and I'm 83.
And, you know, I know, but right now the average working person is taking money out of their savings to pay for their groceries.
How do you know that?
And their everyday living.
How do you know
that? I know people that are doing that.
Well, I'm sure there are
some people. I know a lot
people.
of people that they don't have any savings, so they're charging things. They're charging their groceries and everything.
Is that new, or has that gone on before in other administrations?
I don't
think. Answer
Trump
the question. Is that new?
I don't think Trump realizes that the people that voted for him are falling farther and farther behind.
Well,
and
he'll find out come midterms.
I'm sorry, say that again.
He'll find out come midterms.
Well, thank you for listening to my opinion, and you take care of yourself.
Take care. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And let's talk to John in Saginaw. Whoa, John, turn your radio down. Hello? John? He walked away. He left his radio up.
Hello, Art. there?
Yeah, turn your radio down, first and foremost.
Yeah, it's down.
Okay.
Just a comment about Trump and his nicknames for every opponent he has, and I got a nickname for him, the Hindenburg.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm not a fan of those nicknames. I've never
I'm
been.
not either.
I've never been a fan of his mouth.
No, I'm not either. But he's supposed to be on TV tonight in
9:00.
playing the 2020. Yeah, the 2020
Election.
fraudulent election or whatever.
Yeah, I'm over it.
Yeah, that's old news.
Well, he's trying to get the SAVE Act passed, which I think it should. That's beside the point, though. So I think what he's going to do is use that to try and get the SAVE Act pushed forward.
Yep. And, you know, the fraudulent votes, how many of them voted for him?
I don't know.
Who voted for
I have no idea.
Yep.
I have no idea.
Yep.
But that's an interesting question. You don't hear that very often.
No. I mean, maybe someday they'll be able to tell who the fraudulent votes voted for, but I don't know. All the investigating they've done and checked and just come up with very little or nothing. I mean, I can see where there are some errors in some places.
Well, there's always errors.
Oh,
I mean, you know, that's
when you win
that's
by
historic.
millions. I mean, hey,
yeah.
you know, whether the bank makes errors on your deposit sometimes. You know, I mean,
yeah.
you know, it's nothing new. Well, anyway, that's just my thoughts.
Good enough. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, John. And that opens the lines for you, 989-752-6111, the number to call to participate.
Gotta go.
All right. Back with you for one final segment. Let's talk to Maria in Saginaw. Maria, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lewis. Wow, what a day for open phones.
Yeah.
It's kind of like one thing after another.
It's all right. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, I'm just hoping that things get better and the air cleans up.
Yeah. Well, they say by Saturday we should have better air.
Yeah, that's good. We always have to have something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I just want to say thank you for your open phones, and you're doing a good job.
You're welcome. Thanks, Maria.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Have yourself a great day.
Thank you. I hope so. You too.
All righty. Bye-bye now.
Bye.
And let's go to Bay City, talk to Mark. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning, Arthur. First off, I want to thank you for an interview you did maybe 2 years ago. I think it was Wes Olszewski, Freeland native, retired airline pilot. I actually had some correspondence with Mr. Olszewski there. We knew him through another web comic that he had. Now you're familiar with the Kyle Morris strip that appears on social media. He had another one called Dr. Zooch, that was the name of the character in a comic strip he called The Program, in which all these ant characters are reenacting the aerospace developments of the 50s and 60s, including the moon landing and all that. And he actually had a line of model rockets that he called Ant Scale.
I remember that.
I built just about every last one of them and flew. and I went to a national competition. A gentleman came all the way from Japan to Muskegon to fly his builds of those kits.
Wow. You still involved with the air search group?
Well, I'm active. I just achieved 50 years of service and received a challenge coin, and my membership dues are waived going forward here. So
lucky you at 50 years. Good boy.
Yeah, continuous service. I mean, it didn't have to be continuous from what I understand, but I just kept with it, and maybe my degrees of involvement fluctuated, but I was still there and active, and so I do a bit of that. And right now there's like several summer encampments going on in the Great Lakes region. There's one up in Alpena, and they're doing.
So they're still very active.
Yes, there's about 1,500 statewide here in the state of Michigan.
Tell everybody what we're talking about.
Say again, please.
Tell everybody what we're talking about.
Oh, the Civil Air Patrol.
Civil Air Patrol, right.
The official auxiliary of the United States Air Force. Members pay dues to belong, and previous service members, veterans, get to wear their awards that they earned in service. I've seen members with Submariner badges and combat infantryman badges, and of course the various specialties of the United States Air Force, like missileers and radar and electronics, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Great organization. It's been around a long time.
Yes, I was surprised to learn that Jimmy, trying to remember his last name there, the general, the actor, he was a big advocate.
Jimmy Stewart.
Jimmy Stewart. He was a big advocate. And this might interest you. I didn't realize that Arthur Godfrey was a member of CAP. He was a lieutenant colonel.
Really? No kidding.
And he was with the California wing, and when California deployed their F-104s to Vietnam, he was involved with those people.
No kidding.
I was surprised that the man was multi-engine rated, and
I didn't know that.
There's a video of him with getting a joyride on a F-84 Starfire and breaking the sound barrier in a dive. So, I mean, interesting. I realized that, I mean, there's a lot of people that were from entertainment that were in there. I think Mary Astor was a captain. Arnold Palmer was a major. He flew his own plane to various golf matches.
I think
I had an uncle who looked like Arnold Palmer, who was also in CAP in 44. I didn't know about this till sometime down the road.
One of the probably one of the most exciting things I ever did in my life was fly with the Blue Angels.
Wow.
That was this goes back into the 60s. It was before they got F4s. I think we were flying F100s.
Well, if that was Navy, they were probably flying A4s, and they had those.
It wasn't A4s. It was. I thought it was F100s or F104s. I could be wrong. I don't know.
So they flew the F-11.
They got the bigger aircraft later on.
I remember when they used to perform at Flint Bishop Airport back around, I think, Labor Day weekend.
Yep.
That was a big thing. And early June, you had the Thunderbirds out at MBS, former Christ City Airport.
That's right.
I got to meet them in 75. We were in the old terminal building, and they came downstairs, and they briefly said hello and went out to their the T-38s.
Yep. Those were the days. All right. Listen, Mark, good to hear from you.
Likewise, Art. We'll talk again.
All right, buddy. Thanks.
Thank you.
Take care. I've known Mark for quite some time. Interesting stuff. Great memories, though. Wow. All right, that's going to do it for the Art Lewis Show. We'll be back to talk to Ken Buck from Buck Insurance on Focus after the news, which is next.
Beautiful new floor.